So I would like to respond to a comment. I'll read it now. How do you handle negative feelings that feel stuck in your body, like a feeling of tightness and heat in the head and feeling as though you're spacing out? I'll get hit with those feelings throughout the day and feel very fatigued and almost fearful in a way, and then I won't feel like doing anything. The mental fog feeling that goes along with it then scares me because I feel as though I'm losing myself or my mind. I'm trying to improve my life but feel as though I don't have the mental leverage to be the person I'm meant to be. Someone that's more selfless, relaxed, loving, kind than I can be I can be some of those things, but it's harder to be that person if the energy in your body doesn't reflect that. Can one heal this kind of emotional deregulation and sensitivity so they can have that inner feeling of peace in any situation more often than not? I want to be present and relaxed in front of my friends, family, and clients and have that relaxed demeanor, but the feeling sort of reinforces the fact that I'm not that way. It's hard to explain. Any advice or tips from anyone would be greatly appreciated. I want to answer that question because it touches the question or the very problem that every spiritual seeker has to face at some point. To make it very simple, you are the way you are right now, but you want to be different. And that's the problem. You want to be more selfless, relaxed, loving, and kind, but the reality looks a bit different. The problem is you are not willing to accept yourself as you are. Most people are tortured on a daily basis by negative thoughts, expectations. Thoughts remind them of better times in the past. People are on a daily basis tortured by anger, jealousy, loneliness, and all that negative stuff. And then there's a natural impulse to escape from that. It's a form of, the mind splits itself in two, and then one part is the inner hell, and the other part says, I want to escape my mind. So it's the psychology that wants to escape the psychology. It's the psyche that wants to escape the psyche. And that's what's happening with you. You don't like the way your mind is right now, so you create a split. You might even call yourself awareness now, but it's just a thought or a belief. It's not real. It's not the full real experience. The fact is right now, you don't like the way you are right now, so there's an inner split, and there is the appearance of the thing you call the ego now, and that ego says, I don't want the mind to be the way it is, so there must be a practice or a tip or whatever that will help me to get out of this state. Not realizing that this very attempt to go away from what is, from your inner mental state, is exactly what is perpetuating that suffering. So the fact is right now you are suffering, you don't like the state you are in right now. To make it very simple, let's say that you feel negative feelings. So to make it very simple, let's just say that you are suffering from sadness. So you have this sadness. It could be something else, but just to make it simple for the video, let's say that you're suffering from sadness and you don't like that sadness. You try to make that sadness go away, and no matter what you try to make that sadness go away, nothing works. Because the psyche is trying to escape the psyche. What's actually happening is that you are like a fire that is afraid of heat. The suffering is like your shadow. No matter where you go, it will always follow you. At some point, you have to stop with all these techniques because you see that none of those work. You see that you and the sadness are one. It's like a hand. In real life, you can cut your hand off, but in the psychology, you cannot cut your sadness off. So no matter where you go, you will take that sadness with you until you decide to sit with the sadness, realizing that you cannot get rid of it. There is no escape from your misery. You see? You are afraid of meeting yourself as you are. We like to tell ourselves that we are pure consciousness, God consciousness, pure awareness. We are the true self. We are not the anger, not the sadness. But the truth is, for most people, that they are faced with the sadness, with the grief, with the anger, with all that negative stuff. That's what's actually happening. And we tell ourselves we are pure awareness without actually experiencing that peace, so that we can say, I'm not actually that, and I'm still on the way of trying to shed that skin off, trying to shed that old stuff, those old conditionings off, like the skin of a snake. But at some point you have to face yourself as you are and tell yourself, okay, I'm looking at the content of my consciousness and I can see that I'm full of all these negative things. And the very demand to change it is what's perpetuating it. You're trying to escape from yourself. Do you see that you are the suffering right now? You don't like the suffering, so you create a false sense of self that is at least trying to control what is. It is at least trying to control its inner state. And then it says, I want to be more selfless. I want to be more relaxed. But why do you want to be more selfless? It's an egoic wish. You don't actually want to be more selfless. You say you want to be more selfless because you hope that if you would feel if you would be more selfless, that it would have a better outcome for you. You think being more selfless feels better than being selfish. That's why you want to be selfless. You want to escape from what is. You are selfish right now, but you want to be selfless because you think that's a better state to be in. You don't like the state you are in. That means you are full of self-hate. You don't like yourself as you are right now. You don't want to be with yourself as you are right now. Even in the Bible it says, God says, come to me as you are. You don't have to do all these good deeds before. I'm not religious, but I'm just saying that some of those things that are in the Bible or other holy texts, they don't speak about a God in the sky. There are some hidden pointers that point towards this truth of awareness. So you have to come to yourself as you are and see yourself as you are. It doesn't mean that you have to practice something called self-acceptance or self-love, because even that would imply that there is an intention. When there's an intention, then there is still a separate self trying to do self-love in order to change what is. But I'm just saying, simply realize that there is no way to escape yourself. You cannot escape your suffering because it is you. I'm not saying that it is essentially what you are, but it's like your shadow. No matter where you go, it will follow you. You cannot get rid of it through force or will. It will follow you until you simply accept that it's here. And then when the fire is no longer afraid of the heat, or at least, even if it's still afraid of the heat, as soon as the fire sees that there is no escape from the heat, and the fire is simply accepting its presence, and in that presence all the resistance will simply go away. So there's no need anymore to escape, because you simply see that there is no escape. You are yourself. You cannot escape from your psychology. So you simply accept this state you are in right now psychologically. And then there's no fight anymore. Normally, the self wants to change the psyche so that the self can then reside in a peaceful psyche. That will never work. What can work, though, is when the self is no longer resisting the negative state of the psyche, and therefore it simply surrenders, not through will or force, but through insight. And then the psyche is no longer, the negativity in the psyche is no longer being fueled by the resistance of the self, and then will naturally settle into a more peaceful state. So it's the other way around. You see? Don't try to become more relaxed or peaceful, accept what you are right now. And in this acceptance, in this absence of resistance, a change can happen.